Today's episode of This Week in Startups is brought to you by Desk.com, the all-in-one customer support app for fast-growing companies. Visit desk.com/twist to get your service desk up and running today for as low as $3 per month. And by Squarespace, an all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create a professional website and now an online store. For a free trial and 10% off your first purchase on new accounts, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code TWiST. And by AWS Activate. It's easy to start and scale your business with Amazon Web Services. Check out free resources like one-on-one office hours with AWS Solutions Architects. Learn more and sign up at aws.amazon.com/activate.
Yeah. Hey everybody, it's Jason Calacanis. This is This Week in Startups. Today on the program, Shyp, a new product, a new service that's going to revolutionize the way you move your ship around. Get it? Stick with us. It's going to be an amazing episode.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah. Money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Calacanis, and this is This Week in Startups, the show where we talk about technology, venture capital, angel investing, entrepreneurship, and building companies. If it's your first time here, welcome. You can follow me on Twitter. I am @Jason. You can follow the show @TWI Startups, as in This Week in Startups. You can find us on the web at thisweekinstartups.com. And we produce shows every Tuesday at 1 p.m. and every Friday at 1 p.m. Typically on Tuesday, I do a nice fireside chat, just a discussion, if you will, with a founder. Sometimes it's a legendary 20-year founder that you know by name and they've built tons of great stuff. Other times it's an up-and-comer. Today we have an up-and-comer. It's Kevin Gibbon. He is the co-founder and CEO of the just launched Shyp, S-H-Y-P. And everybody's buzzing about this, and my friend Hunter Walk and a bunch of other friends of mine have invested in it. I am not an investor. I always tell you when I've invested in something, by the way. And typically, just so you understand the whole ruse going on here, I do the show. I love conversations. And then if I think, hey, this is a brilliant guy, after the show, I'm like, hey, I lean over, hey, is there any room for JCal? Can I put 25 dimes in? High society, maybe? Let's get something going here. Thank you to our friends at WeWork. This beautiful studio they built for me. And when they were building this building a year out, and we are here in San Francisco Central Market neighborhood, right next to Twitter and all the great other startups that are reinvigorating this area of San Francisco. And it's really cool. The Golden Gate office of WeWork is awesome. I believe it's sold out, so I don't even know why I'm reading this promo, but you can go to WeWork.com if you want to get like a $500 a month desk. I love it. I advise all my startups to use WeWork, or just not have to sign a lease in the first year. Just get 5-6 desks at a place so you don't have to go through the expense and annoyance. It's sort of desks as a service. It's a great place, a great community. If you want to be on a private mailing list with me, producer Gina, Brandis, new guy Jacob, and the rest of the team, it's called the TWiST list. And I'm not going to tell you anything else about it, but it's a secret list. It's a secret society. It's Illuminati level shit. Go to twistlist.co, TWISTLIST.co, and get into some Illuminati, like crazy skull and bone stuff with me and the rest of the team. All right, Kevin, welcome to the program. Last week, everybody started buzzing. You launched a new product called Shyp. What is it? Why did you build it?
Yeah, really exciting. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Shyp is essentially just we're trying to build the easiest way to ship your stuff. We've all kind of been through the painful process of going to the post office, using FedEx, using UPS, and we're just trying to just make it really, really simple for everybody.
So this is a pain point. Why? I mean, how would people previously do this? They have to put something in a box?
Yeah.
So walk me through exactly how the service works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's say I've got like an Amazon return. Mm-hmm. So I bought this, I don't know, I bought shampoo and I get it and it's like not the right shampoo I wanted, so I want to return it.
Right. So for returns, like you'd have to package everything up yourself.
Okay. Yeah, I've done that.
You've done that, of course. And you got to save the boxes, and it could be a hassle. I know friends of mine have a garage full of boxes. So you'd have to do that, package it up, get the actual prepaid postage from Amazon. They cover the postage, which is really awesome. And then either drop it off at USPS, UPS, wherever their postage is for, and then that's kind of it. But with us, You essentially, you don't need to worry about the packaging. You don't have to leave your home or office. You just give us the item. So the thing you're returning back to Amazon, forward us the prepaid postage, and we'll kind of take it from here.
So I take a picture of my shampoo bottle. This is a terrible example. Let me make something else. I ordered a book.
Yeah.
That could be something oversized. Or it'd be something big, like
We did a mattress, actually.
You did a mattress?
Yeah, we did a mattress. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got the mattress.
Yeah.
It's not firm, whatever. I don't
Right.
like it. I send it back.
Right.
So I take a picture of it.
Yep.
And then you tell me, Joe or Susan or whoever, your messenger, would you call them? What do you call them?
We call
Shippers?
them our Shyp Heroes, actually.
Shyp Heroes.
Yeah. They're the people that save you from the pain of shipping
Got
items
it.
yourself. Yeah.
So I see their picture on my phone.
Yep.
And do I see them coming to my house like a Uber type thing?
Yes. Yeah. So we aim to be there within 15 to 20 minutes. We'll take that mattress. We kind of limit it to anything that could fit in the back seat of a kind of a 4-door car, and then we'll handle everything else for you. You don't have to worry about packaging. You don't have
So
to
what do
worry
you
about
do after
anything
that? You
else.
bring it back to your warehouse?
Yeah, so we have a central warehouse, and then that's where we handle all of the packaging and where all the other carriers. We use all the major carriers. We use FedEx, UPS, DHL, USPS, and then we kind of package it and get all the postage and everything, and then they come and pick it up from our location and then send it on until its final destination.
And do I have some sort of tracking to know what happened? How does
Absolutely.
that loop work?
Yeah, so we will, at the end of the transaction, so essentially, so you don't even need to tell us, if you use UPS or USPS and you're shipping something out, you'll have to enter in the dimensions of it, you're gonna have to weigh it, or do all that stuff. You don't have to do anything with
painful.
that. It's awful. So you literally just take a picture, tell us where it's going, we'll pick it up, and then at our warehouse, we'll weigh and measure the items, and then after the transaction is done, we'll send you a receipt, very much like a lot of the other services do, and we'll charge your credit card and give you the tracking information to track it to its final destination.
All right, so the million-dollar question is, how much does it cost and how do you charge for it?
Yeah, so we charge a standard $5 pickup fee, and then just the cost of postage. So in the case of a return, we don't take any money for the actual postage because Amazon or somebody else has already paid for that. But most of our customers are actually like online sellers, like
An eBay seller?
Yeah, absolutely.
A Craigslist seller?
Yeah.
Somebody who has a, what are those stores called? Consignment store?
Consignment stores.
Junk store, whatever.
Yeah, like the Shopify, if you have a Shopify store.
Okay.
Kind of Squarespace, like all those ones. That's kind of where our bread and butter is, and it's a really big pain point. Like people have they'll have a whole team dedicated to this, and it's essentially just use us and we'll take care of it for you.
What if I got like 16 or 17 items? Like I'm an Etsy seller, and I'm like, here, I got 16 items I'm sending out today. These 4 go to this person, these 3 go to that person.
Right.
And they're just like laying on a table. Like,
Yeah.
what does the driver do? Do they put them all into like shipping bags or something on the spot so they don't get mixed up?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Or the pictures help, I guess.
Yeah, so we do that all the time. Like we have multiple items per kind of pickup most of the time, and then we'll come and we'll make sure that the picture matches where it's going, and then we separate every single thing into each individual bag, and so every single bag has a QR code on it. So we have our drivers or our heroes, they have a hero app, and they'll basically scan the bag, put the actual item inside, and then seal it up, and then that'll go in their backpack or in the back of their car, and then it goes to our warehouse where we literally scan the QR code, automatically prints out the postage, and then we box it up and send it on its way.
All right, so now I understand how you charge us.
Yeah,
But you can't pick a mattress up for $5 though, or a flat panel TV, do you?
absolutely, yes.
Okay, wait a second. So this is starting to remind me, like I'm getting a weird web van feeling like you're going to start losing money on every transaction and try to make up for it in volume.
Yeah, so
How do you manage to do this and not lose money? Where's the margin?
Yeah, so the margin is not in the $5. Like that essentially just covers the cost of what we have to pay our drivers.
The hero.
The heroes, yes. So how we actually make our money is basically on the price arbitrage between what we pay for UPS or FedEx or UPS, and then what we charge our users. So we essentially, if you sell on eBay, we'll charge you whatever service we send, the retail price of that. And then we get really large discounts because we show up in volume, right? So it's like we get really
So it's
great
no
discounts.
difference to me. I would have paid
Yeah,
$15
yeah.
to ship it by FedEx
Right.
overnight.
Yeah,
But you get it for 10?
right. Yeah, so we'll
What
make
is your margin? 30%
20
discount?
to 80%.
20 to 80% discount? And that's because you're delivering to the UPS warehouse in bulk, and they don't have to pick it up, kind of thing?
So they'll still do the pickups right now, but it's essentially like it's really expensive for them to do pickups or have storefronts or stuff like that. So instead of them going and doing it, they essentially just pick a pallet, a prepackaged pallets, pre-sorted from our warehouse, and then they put it into the rest of their infrastructure, which they're extremely good. Like they all have networks that span the globe, right?
Yeah.
But it's really expensive for both the first mile and the last mile. So we're basically solving that first mile problem for them. So in turn, they give us really big discounts because it's cheaper for them, obviously, right?
So this to me seems like something that used to be done by people who, rich people with personal assistants who get paid $20 an hour, like, hey, you can send this back, return this, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And why didn't UPS, FedEx, Postal Service, we know why the Postal Service didn't, U.S. Postal Service, no offense to the fine people at the U.S. Postal Service, but we don't expect them to, innovate necessarily.
Yeah.
But why didn't FedEx or UPS, get on this?
I think they've kind of, it's really hard for them to come out with new services. Like they have their shareholders to answer to and everything, and they essentially are they have these big, massive infrastructures around the globe, and that's really expensive for them. So for them to kind of be really innovative with this, it's just like any big company. It's so hard for them to change something. They have dedicated routes that are predetermined, and for them to say oh, hey, look, we're going to now do on-demand kind of pickups within 15, 20 minutes. They just couldn't do that. That's just not part of their infrastructure, and it would be very costly, and it's really hard for them to really see that that's a really big value. So that's why I think there's always these. That's why it leaves room for companies like us to come in and be we could completely change, rethink the way that things are being done. They've been done this way just because this is the way things have been done, and they made it good money. But there's definitely just this huge missing part for the end user, whether that be consumer or business.
All right, when we get back from commercial break, I want to ask you the question that probably is on everybody's mind right now, which is Uber launched a bike messenger service in New York, and there's rumors of sort of a transportation API from them. And how do you think about Uber? Full disclosure, I'm an angel investor in Uber. How do you think about them as a competitor when we get back from this very important message from our partner? Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into This Week in Startups. And, independent media like this is not cheap to produce. We work really hard, half dozen people building out the show over the last 4 or 5 years. And we are able to do that because we look at all the great products that we use as a team. And Desk.com is one of them. And we approach those people and say, hey, we love your product. Would you like to be on the show? And Desk.com is a great product that we use here at This Week in Startups and Launch to manage customer support, because people are talking about our events and our launch ticker and our product all over the place. Now, we want to speak with one voice, and we look at customer service. Tony Hsieh's been on the program a lot of times, as our chance. Customer service is our chance to bond with the audience. We want to be able to have them love us and understand that we care. So if you take the time to tell us we suck on Twitter, or to be upset at us on Facebook, or send us an email because you're disappointed, any of those things, we see that as an opportunity to re-engage you and turn you from somebody who we disappointed because we made a mistake into maybe somebody who is happy with us and thinks that, my God, I can't believe that somebody responded so professionally and told me where to get the episode that I missed because the RSS feed was down, or we made a typo or something. And Desk.com makes this universal inbox of all of the feedback you're getting for customer service, and it starts at only $3 per month. Go to desk.com/twist, desk.com/twist, and it works everywhere. Desktop, tablet, mobile. You know the story. There are some of these enterprise companies now that just make an extraordinary product. They keep adding features, and they keep lowering the prices or keeping them steady while they add all these great features. Desk.com by Salesforce is one of those amazing, amazing companies. We use it here, like I said, and it's absolutely fantastic. I give it my highest recommendation. Go to desk.com/twist. All right, let's get back to the program. Hey, everybody. You're listening to This Week in Startups. Of course, this is the podcast where we talk about entrepreneurship and creating companies, startups, if you will. And my guest today is Kevin Gibbon. He is the co-founder and CEO of the just launched Shyp. That's SHYP. Is it Shyp.com like that?
It is.
Oh, you got a 4-letter domain name.
Absolutely.
That's pretty tight, kid. And you got the @ handle too?
We do. Got them all.
Wow, look at
Yeah.
you. We are branding savant over here. Was that hard to get, that combo?
It was a few tricks we had to work. Yeah.
A few tricks, huh?
Yeah. I think
Well, that's a. I'll tell you how much you pay for that domain. It's misspelled, but it's 4 letters.
Right.
It's a domain that costs between, if you got lucky and some individual owned it, 25. If a domain squatter owned it, you could pay up to 150. What did you pay?
it was a domain squatter, and we paid a lot less than 150.
But above 25.
A lot less than 25.
What?
The reason is they didn't realize it actually could be used as a word, right? They just thought it was like
it's just 4-letter random
Right.
thing. So you get it for 10 dimes. And then what about the Twitter handle?
well, you're not
Technically
supposed
allowed to buy it.
Right.
But
right.
if someone were to work out and negotiate a deal where somebody gave them that and they hired
Yeah.
them for a consulting assignment on the side, what would the
Right.
consulting assignment cost?
I've heard that you could get Twitter handles for a few $100s, especially before it's a company's been formed around.
All right. So if anybody
But,
wants
so-
that, Jason, if you can give me $500, Jason Bateman, I'm talking to you. You know what? I wouldn't give away at Jason.
I wouldn't.
Well, I'm trying to think about what dollar amount it would take.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need money, but I mean, if somebody were to donate to charity, a number, I don't know. I'm so selfish about that. I'm so self-centered that it's like so important to me, the
Yeah.
Jason handle.
You can never get it back, right? It's
You
like-
never get it back.
yeah.
So what would
Yeah.
you suggest I sell at Jason for for donation to charity?
A donation to charity? I don't know.
Like it's 5,000 a well.
Right.
So would I do it for 10 wells? No. No, I'm too selfish.
100 wells? I don't know.
No. 500,000, 100 wells? No. I say no wells.
No wells.
I feel like a horrible
Right,
person,
Right.
but I would not give it up for 100 wells.
It'd be tough. Yeah.
Does that make me a bad person?
I don't think so.
I think it does make me a bad person.
You think so?
I think I'm a bad person.
Well, you can make up for it by just.
I just do
buying-
something else.
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
I'll just buy a well.
Yeah.
All right, listen. Let's talk about Uber. I'm not just bringing it up because I'm an investor, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
This is very related. And also Boxby, which was at the launch festival and I'm an investor in.
Right.
So there's a lot of people buzzing around this.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other last mile shipping kind of companies right now?
There's a lot.
What
like,
happened to Google's? Does Google have
Shopping
one?
Express, amazing product. Like
What is it called?
Google Shopping Express.
Okay, what do they do?
So I think there's like 3 different kind of pieces of.
Yeah, take me through the competitive landscape.
Yeah, 3 different pieces of moving items around. So there's the first mile, which essentially that's what we do, and we
Right.
do it really well. So like we'll come to your house, we'll pick up the unpackaged items, and we'll kind of figure out the lowest cost but most highest reliability option to kind of ship it there effectively, and that's what we do. So there's nobody directly in that space.
What's really nice about that, by the way, I hate to interrupt, you figure out for me
Right.
which is the best option.
Absolutely.
Because who knows like what UPS and
Yep.
they seem like they all have different scams or schemes to charge you less. And when you go to the store,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like the store, because a lot of them are resellers or something. It doesn't
Right.
feel like they have your best interest in mind, do they? Because I feel like they got their thumb on the scale where they're like, yeah, there might be a cheaper option, but I'm going to go with the bigger option where you get the biggest commission. Is that true?
Right. I don't know. Like, I definitely can't talk for. There's just so many of them, right?
Right.
But I've heard, like, if you remember when back in the day, Mailbox, etc., was around.
Yep.
Before they were purchased, they would basically they would take like a really hefty surcharge for them because they had to pay for all their stores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I heard that they were like marking up what they actually paid by maybe 3-4x or something like that.
Wow.
So it was really expensive. Like, so if you're going to ship maybe like a T-shirt is going to be packaged, like you could be talking $30-$40 or something like that.
For a $5 T-shirt.
Right,
Insanity.
right.
And then people don't know about things like media mail, like
Yeah.
U.S. Postal Service,
Right.
because people kept shipping DVDs and
Yep.
books.
Yeah.
They do media mail for what, $1?
It's very heavily subsidized, yeah.
What does it
Media
cost?
mail is tricky because you have to. So
Explain what it is.
It's it has to be for educational content only.
Okay.
And that's still
Pretty broad.
It's very broad, and that's still something that we're struggling with to use it because that would basically because we're the ones shipping these items.
So you have liability.
We would have to prove that they're actually educated. And as far as like operationally goes, it's extremely tough. So right now it's not something that we're currently offering.
Right.
But there's still
I use that media mail.
use it is a great service. So
Love that.
So basically, so we basically will navigate the shipping kind of ecosystem for you. So when you are going to send something domestically or especially internationally, there's a lot of different options and there's different carriers, and this is really tough to figure out what it is. So essentially, like we boil that down to 3 different options. So the default is like kind of the cheapest. It's like just get it. I don't really care when it's going to get there. It'll get there in a week or two or whatever. But I'm just really care about the price. That's the first option. The second option is kind of an in-between option. It'll probably be domestically, and maybe be like 2-3 days or something like that. So you'll pay a premium. And then the kind of the third option is the fastest, like get this there overnight. So what we do for each individual shipment is we this is all done through our algorithms, but we essentially look at all the different options and choose the best ones for you.
Do I tell you though, like I'm cost sensitive or I'm time sensitive? I give you an idea in the app?
Yeah, here, I'll kind of pull it up. So yes, essentially, there's 3 different options: cheapest, the middle option, and then the fastest.
And then you give me the best speed,
Yeah,
and then I get the tracking code and everything back to me, and it's all stored inside the app.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were also talking about the different options. You said there were 3 options. So the first is what you do, the first mile, not the last, the first mile, getting it out of my house, getting it in a box, and putting a stamp on it, so to speak.
So there's a space there.
Look at that. Yeah. So it says up here, 6 days, 5 days, next day. Yeah, and you get to pick. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
So simple.
It's
beautiful app, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, that's
it's
my
very flat design.
Yeah, my co-founder Josh, he's an amazing.
But you got the hamburger in there, the little what do they call that, menu bar on the top.
The menu bar. Yeah.
I thought that Apple was like, no more of that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I don't think I like it anymore.
Okay, well, we're always improving, and we're always looking for like the best kind of user experience.
So what are the other competitors that you have? And when you have a space that's boiling up and with a lot of competitors in it, take me through the discussions with your investors as to, is this fundable given the competitive landscape?
Yeah, so here, I'll go back. This might be a bit better way to explain it. So there's 3 different areas. So there's a first mile, there's all the middle miles, and then there's kind of the last mile. So all the middle miles, like the FedEx, UPS, the Postal Service, they're actually really good at that. Like they have like trucks and planes going, like moving items around the world. And then the last mile is basically the actual delivery itself. So it's from maybe if it went through FedEx, it's like the actual truck that's going to come from the distribution center to your home. They're going to try to deliver it, and you're not home. It's kind of a painful experience. But that's kind of the last mile. So there's a few different. So in the middle miles is basically all of the kind of the existing
infrastructure.
FedEx, UPS, all the guys, big trucks, lots of planes. And the last mile, that's where there has been some innovation. So you have the Google Shopping Express, which will essentially move items from, it's actually interesting, it'll move items from a retail store, so like a Target or something like that, to your home. And it's free as well, which I think they're probably losing money on it.
Of course they're losing money. They're just trying to test it to see what it could be.
And there's a few other ones as well, like there's Deliv as well.
Postmates.
Postmates, yeah. So they're a little different. But
I'm not an investor in Postmates.
Yeah, so they're a little different because they're mostly food, but they're kind of last mile as well. They're very inner city.
TaskRabbit.
They kind of do a lot of.
They
different
do everything,
things.
but they could do that stuff.
They
People have
absolutely
used them for that.
So this is where Uber Rush is like kind of considered like the last mile / like within the same city, like a courier service. So
it's courier service.
Yeah, they're really good at moving kind of items within a city. So it's a much different customer than it's going to be for a customer like for us. So that's kind of we don't have any direct competition per se, but that's kind of the landscape. So like somebody who's going to use Uber Rush is probably going to be like a lawyer, somebody who needs to move things within a city. Somebody who's going to use us is going to be an eBay seller, an Etsy seller, somebody that's selling their items around the world.
I mean, I really feel like the packing of everything
Yeah.
is a bit. Is that half of the value? Is the packaging
It's a
and putting it in
huge
the box?
value. Yeah,
What a pain in the ass the boxes.
Yeah, and it's something that we actually love doing. We're trying to be extremely innovative. So actually, one of the things we're working on right now is making everything as compact as possible. Like you get a lot of the items from Amazon, and I'm sure you've
Oh my God,
seen-
with those big air bubbles in it.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Why?
It's just because they're trying to they're trying to optimize as much as they can, and they've basically boiled that down to like between 30 and 50 box sizes in their warehouse, and certain items they just can't fit. So
No, I get toothpaste sometimes, like on Subscribe and
yeah,
Save, and I'm like, okay, you really sent me this toothpaste in a box that could fit 20 of them.
Yeah.
What is going on over there?
It's also because they work with the UPSs and FedEx and stuff like that. So and they go for the lowest cost as well.
What does a box like that cost for that? That when I get an Amazon box, is that $1.50?
For them, cents. It's
10 cents, 20 cents.
Yeah, it's pennies. It's really because
So your box is made out of cardboard. Cost you 25 cents or something?
Yeah, ours are more expensive just because we're not at that scale.
So 25, 50 cents?
What's that?
25, 50 cents?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
and so what we're trying to do is like make kind of the correct box for that particular item, which saves you money. Like, because we charge you the retail cost, so that's
and you can fit more on the pallet.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many box sizes you have then, or do you plan on having?
Well, we're actually working to make custom box sizes. For
What?
every single, yeah, we're working some really cool stuff.
Whoa, how do you do that? A 3D printed box?
Yeah, you'll have to come by our warehouse. I'll show you. But it's some really
so you
innovative
basically
stuff.
have like a way to cut a custom box and wrap it around it.
Yeah,
because people do kind of interesting stuff like that in
Right.
packaging, where they wrap paper around stuff. So why couldn't you do it with
cardboard? Yeah,
with cardboard or something?
Absolutely, and then that saves you money, and then it's better for everybody.
Lighter.
You can fit, it's lighter. You can fit more on a pallet in a plane. It's really great. And so that's where we could be like the best at it. I love the companies like this that just focus on one thing. They do it really well. Like we're not gonna do like the middle mile, something like that. Like the first mile is like a big enough pain point that we're just gonna be extremely good at that, at packing and doing all of that.
All right, we all see these videos on the local news or on YouTube going viral, whatever, BuzzFeed. FedEx guy is bowling with my bag, you know, with my package. This guy's kicking them, you know, like everybody's got drop cams.
Right.
Well, how come drop cam hasn't been on the show? Gina, make a note. Let's get drop cam on the show. That's a kick-ass product. I love that. You got a drop cam?
I do not, but I love them.
Dude, you have to have one for your warehouse, dude. You have to have 5 drop cams. So cheap.
We have some, at the warehouse,
You have cameras there. You're probably paying $5 grand, $3 grand, or whatever. Right. You can put those things up for like $100, and you get like a 30-day DVR for like $300, 7-day for $150. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It's great. Anyway, so putting that aside, when we get back from the commercial break, the partner break, I want to know, why should we trust your drivers, your heroes, with an electronics or expensive item that's not in a package? I mean, people are concerned enough with people stealing and breaking and all this nonsense that these FedEx guys and UPS guys and gals, we see all the time them abusing our packages. How do you build a company at scale that doesn't, with raw, naked product, doesn't get screwed up when we get back from this break? I love doing a read for Squarespace. Everybody knows I love Squarespace. It's gorgeous. It's the most wonderful CMS publishing system on the planet today. And I'm not kidding you, because I use it myself. And we can use any product we want. But all of the launch events, all of the blogs, everything we do is powered by Squarespace. Now, why did we make that choice? Because I want my people to be able to go to the website, move stuff around, and make it perfect, and not have to go talk to the tech people. That's just a waste of time, and it creates this game of telephone. Squarespace is 24-hour support, 7 days a week, for creating exceptional looking sites. It's so easy to use, and they're constantly improving it. So they, commerce on all plans. You can sell products, which is incredible. You can take donations. Hey, we have to look into that. And it's what we use for all launch sites. So go check out launchbeacon.co. That's our new New York event about local and commerce and beacon technology, launchbeacon.co. And you can see how beautiful these sites are. Go to squarespace.com. Try it out for free. Now, no credit card is required. Great services never require the credit card because they're so confident in their ability. And it starts at only $8 a month, which is ridiculous. It should start really at $80 a month. They're giving that much value. If you decide to keep your site after the trial, then go ahead and use the offer code TWiST. Squarespace is everything you need to create an exceptional website, and it gets my highest recommendation. I'm telling you, everybody in my family, friends that are like, oh, what should I use? I got to put a website up for my business. I got to do this. And I'm like, oh my God, they're going to want me to build them a website. And they're like, oh, you work in the website business? Right? Yeah, I'm in the website business. Of course, that's what I'm in. And I say, go to Squarespace. And they're always like, wow, it's so beautiful. It's so easy. The templates are so gorgeous. Go check it out. And they're all, obviously responsive. So if you pull it up on an iPad or iPhone, or desktop, it all just works perfectly. You don't have to hire 7 different people to try to fix it on every single platform. Squarespace is doing that every day while we're just out there doing our jobs in the real world. Okay, listen, thanks Squarespace. And go ahead, everybody out there, say thanks at Squarespace for supporting independent media like at TWI Startups, This Week in Startups. Okay, let's get back to this program. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to This Week in Startups. You can follow us on Twitter, the Twitter, at TWI Startups. I'm at Jason. And, of course, go to twistlist.co to join the TWiST Illuminati group. So with me today, Kevin Gibbon, who you can follow on Twitter, Kevin Gibbon, Gibbon, of Shyp, SHYP.com. He got the domain name for under 25 dimes. Pretty savvy guy. And at Shyp, SHYP. So you take a picture. You pick it up, you pack it, $5, genius. You make a little margin on the UPS charge because you get a discount in bulk, genius. You pass. You kind of pass that on to me in the form of this amazing service
Absolutely.
for free. But why should we trust you? Like, what if I want to package this like Canon EOS Rebel that costs $3, or my Red camera that I'm sending to my brother for the weekend, and I'm handing you a $15,000 Red camera, and you're hiring people for, I'm guessing, $20 an hour, $20 an hour for a Hero?
Yep. Yeah, $20 an hour.
They get paid $20 an hour.
Absolutely.
So double the minimum wage in San Francisco and triple the minimum wage in the country almost. That must have been a very, maybe I answered my own question, sorry about that, but why should we trust you, and how did you come to $20 an hour? It seems incredibly generous.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, so we basically we have two different customers. We essentially have like yourselves that are shipping the items, but we also have the heroes as well.
You consider your employees customers?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Because they're the only, they are the only actual touch point with yourself.
Yeah.
And if they're going to be happy, like if they have a job that they love, and like riding around on a bike or in a car in San Francisco, that's a pretty awesome job. But also if they're going to be compensated well, like they're just going to perform much better at the job. And we do tons of other things, and we really make sure that they're like as happy as possible. And so I think it goes to like why should you trust us? I think it's because we put a lot of effort into that, and we go above and beyond, and we reject a lot of different people that come and want to become heroes, because it's just that important. And we know, like if you ship this $15,000 camera and something happened, that would be a nightmare for us. So I think it starts with that, but it also we have other safeguards into our process that make it so things, if we could kind of if things do go wrong, we could kind of react to them. One of the things we do is for every single shipment we offer automatically, you don't have to pay anything extra, a $1,000 guarantee that is going to arrive at its end destination.
So you're self-insuring in a way?
We're self-insuring.
Up to
Up to $1,000.
Wow, that's great.
It's really
cheaper for you to do the self-insurance thing than anything else.
Yes.
And you also have the backup of FedEx and UPS's guarantee of up to $100 a package or something?
Yeah, it's different for every single service, but it's actually quite lower in some cases.
So you basically say we're going to decline the insurance from those people to save money, and then you put your own plan on it, or did you actually insure from them?
Well,
as a backup?
We're working with a few different options, but essentially, like if you use us, just know that if anything ever did go wrong, like even if it happens, like FedEx they screwed up, and it's
FedEx's fault.
It's FedEx's fault. We'll cover that, and we'll like literally cut you a check within like 48 hours if we can. You don't have to deal with like insurance.
You background check all these heroes?
Absolutely.
How do you? Let me ask. It's a technical question. What's a valid background check for this new category of employment that you've created?
Yeah, I think like we just use another service that does it all for us.
So you make sure they're not felons?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't hire felons? You can confirm?
I can confirm that. Yes. Thinking if I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. We make sure that they're the best, absolute best.
Let me ask
we
you
go
this.
above and beyond the background check.
Do you test them in their first day by giving them a secret like pickup?
Because
that's what I would do.
Right.
Because I would be a little obsessive about this, because you're hiring people for what is, let's face it, like a manual labor job.
Yeah.
You're paying them a great rate, but hey, there's a little bit of
Yep.
a little bit of risk here. So would you actually test them by saying like, hey, pick it up at this person's house, and like see how courteous they were and everything?
We may have done that early on, and we are still looking at ways we could do that. That kind of scales as well. Like if you imagine if we have 1,000 of these heroes in the city, that could be quite
that's what I think.
costly.
When you hit scale, it's gonna be hard to manage this, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think like we're definitely the way that we really created this is like with scale in mind. Like we want to blow this up like
every city
in the world,
hundreds of cities,
as fast as we can, and we're using San Francisco as like a test bed to test how things are, and then scale San Francisco, and then kind of go to as many cities as we can. So I think like for the training that the heroes go through, we call it a Hero Academy, and it consists of a few hours of training, and then they'll go on a few kind of dry runs of pickups with some of our mentors, and we'll kind of deem if they can cut it. And if they can't, then we have to find somebody else, because our level of quality is very, very high.
When you pitch this to the VCs, I know Homebrew is an investor, and they're going to be on the program soon. Hunter Walk. How do you Is the competitive landscape something that comes up, and did you lose investors who just thought, this is going to be something that FedEx will eventually do, or Amazon's working on the last mile, so why not the first, or maybe Uber or Postmates, whatever. It's a very crowded field. How did you get VCs and angels through the competitive landscape?
I think this is a relatively kind of young field, especially for innovation in the tech sector. So I think that it looks like it's a crowded field, but it really isn't. Like for any new kind of industry that's being innovated on, it looks very broad. Like if you look at like cloud computing when it first came out, it's like, wow, there's just one category, and there's so many different competitors. But when you really break it down, there's so many different areas. So I think that the answer is that we literally, like the first mile is something that we don't have any direct competitors on, and something that is massive. Like it is huge. It is bigger than the Ubers and the Lyfts. As far as the market goes, it's just in the U.S. it's a $50 billion industry. Small package shipping, it's just massive. So even if they're like, I'm sure we will obviously, as any good kind of company has, is we're going to have competition, and I think it's just being one step ahead of absolutely everybody. And we're just dedicated.
Doesn't seem to have slowed you down. You raised $2.1 million from 21 or 22 investors here, including Homebrew and Sherpa. Which is, of course, Shervin Pershevar's company. Homebrew is Hunter Walk's venture firm. But then you also got Tim Ferriss and Naval and Kamal Ravikant, the brothers. You got Josh Schechter from Delicious fame. I mean, it's a pretty good group of high-profile people. Some might call this a party round. Why did you decide to go with so many investors? If you have 22 investors, does that mean you met with 200 people to get to them? Or did this just all come together on AngelList as like some like, woohoo kind of round?
Yeah, so it definitely looks like there's a lot of investors, but I think...
Well, there are a lot of investors.
There are a lot of
investors. It doesn't look like there's a lot of investors. 22 investors in a $2.1 million round is a lot of investors.
It's a lot of investors.
You realize a lot of companies don't have 21 investors in their lifespan.
I agree.
Okay.
But
so you chose to do this as a founder. Why?
It was... so we have a few, like, as far as like the makeup of the round goes, Homebrew and Tim Ferriss, he did a syndicate. So like that was the majority.
So that's $1 million, boom. 500 each, 750 each, something like that.
Yeah, actually more than that. But and then it was just around like just talking to these people and how much they could offer. And it's like, yeah, let's have a really great team behind us. And they all offered something different for us.
Yeah.
And
but that's a lot of meetings and a lot of paperwork, isn't it?
As far as the paperwork, it's like it wasn't too bad. Like everything, like as soon as we closed it, everybody has the same terms, obviously. So it was just another kind of email. So it wasn't too awful.
And the value you think in having that many investors is that they're each going to bring something different to the table?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you look for in these angel investors in terms of value as a founder? Because you now have to manage 21 relationships, not one, right? Like if you could have probably closed this round with just one VC. You agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you probably had that ability.
Yeah.
So by consciously choosing to manage 21 relationships, what did you look for in the other 20 relationships that you wouldn't get from one VC?
So I think so how the round kind of came together, it was we had a lot of angel investors up front, and then the Homebrews and then Tim Ferriss' syndicate kind of was that later on a little bit. So at first, like myself, I'm from Canada, and same with my co-founder Josh. When we came here, like our networks were nothing. Like we didn't know anybody. So literally, like we went on AngelList, Naval featured us, and we would just kind of like take kind of money, and then we started getting a lot of interest from amazing people. And that's kind of how it came together. But as far as like what we look for,
what do you realistically expect from them? You expect Tim Ferriss to like use the product and tweet how awesome it is?
Tim's actually he's actually a very active investor.
I know. Tim and I are in some products together. We trade emails. And Tim's never been on the show, which really, he keeps saying he wants to be. So it's strictly a failure on producer Gina's part. She's such a perfectionist that I just got her so good. Because Tim keeps emailing me like, yeah, totally, be on the show anytime. And then I'm like, Gina, what's up? Producer Gina, come on. But we'll get him on the show, I promise. It'll be before episode 500, please. But so you expect him to do what?
So Tim is like very involved in marketing, PR, even product as well. Like he's just this kind of different guy. Like if you know him, like he has his hands in a lot of different things, and he's extremely helpful as far as he can. He'll give open up his network and everything.
But does he email you and say like, hey, we got to do this, hey, we got to do that, hey, we got to do this, or do you say, hey, I could use some help with this or that?
I think it's both. Like Tim specifically doesn't push anything. He's like, he's not like, you have to do this. It's like, so hey, would you ever think about this? And like, I think that's really good, especially like for like a founder. You definitely like you wanna be the ones running the company, and you can't.
Yeah, he's not saying we have to do this. He's saying, have you considered?
Yes, yeah, and that's absolutely something you do not look for in an investor. But I think like everybody, like all the people that we got involved, like I think it's always different. Like as far as like some people have a really great network, and we may need that down the line when we start looking at partnerships, integrations, stuff like that. Some people are really good at press, just tons of different reasons. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day is like you just want to surround yourself with the best people, and then amazing things happen. Like so as far as managing all the kind of relationships, it's literally like a few of our investors are more active than everybody else. Homebrew, like Tim, like a few of those people are very, very active. And other ones, it's like we send out our monthly update, and then some people will perk up, like I could help you out with this, and it's been really great. So it's not like we have to like I'm on the phone like 20 people a month.
So it's like they're on demand.
Yeah.
And you might hear from them once in a while when they have a suggestion.
Right.
But if you can get a good tweet out of them or an intro to another VC or the press, hey, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Now you did the syndicate.
Yeah.
And Tim Ferriss is pretty large syndicate.
Right.
I mean, he's definitely in the top 5.
Yes.
So he's got over $1 million in his syndicate, but there's a 99 investor limit per syndicate. I just did my first.
Right.
So how much was the syndicate? And so you have another 99 investors. So you really have 120 investors right now.
Yeah.
What's it like to have those other 99? Do you know the names of them? Do you care? Do they care?
Yeah.
Explain your thinking on Tim Ferriss, the 99 people standing behind Tim Ferriss with checkbooks.
Yeah, I think so. That was a really good opportunity. So how we basically worked it is that we basically gave Tim an allotment. It was for $750,000 for his syndicate, and then we did something unusual. We used Tim's kind of his reach, and when I'm not sure if you remember, but when general solicitation lifted, we were kind of like, we want to be the company to be like, hey, this is how you can actually
participate.
Participate. So
well, that makes it a little bit harder though, because now you're doing like an open general solicitation, right?
All through AngelList. Like you have to be accredited investor.
So it's not like you're tweeting it.
We did tweet, like Tim tweeted to all his network. It's like we had the 750K and we closed up 500K really quickly, and then we saved another 250 for the day the general solicitation was, and we closed it in 53 minutes or something like that. It was insane. It was insane.
Sick.
Yeah, it was crazy.
What was the secret to why it closed so fast? Was it? Do you attribute it to Tim Ferriss's, rabid followers, or do you attribute it to the packaging of the company? And if it's both, what percentage for each?
I think it was like everything. I think like Tim does have an amazing following, and
so they would invest no matter what it is.
Yeah, I think so.
You believe that? Yeah.
Maybe I definitely can't speak for them, but I think it was everything. I think that like the team that we have, like we're extremely focused on user experience, and this is like definitely an idea. It's like, why doesn't this exist, right? Kind of like Uber was. It's like this, of course this shouldn't exist. Yeah. Well, I should have thought of that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like the idea, the team that we put together, the amazing design, and with Tim's network, just everything, and the investors we already had. At that point, we left the 250 open. So all the investors we already had, it was kind of together as a package, looked really, really good.
All right, so you got the $2 million. You're building out the company. After you deploy this $2 million, where will you be at? Like, what's the next milestone for the company after raising this, what you would call in the old days an A round, but now it's sort of like a super angel round?
Yeah.
You got the super angel. You're going to deploy this over the next year, I assume, or 9 months, or 14 months, whatever it is.
Yep.
What will you have accomplished if you do your job?
I think that definitely for this round, it was all about like proving there's a need for this, proving that we have the product to really solve it, and proving it in 1 geo, being San Francisco. And I honestly think that we're pretty much there. Like we launched 2 weeks from this taping right now, and the kind of the response and the reuse has been incredible, unbelievable.
Dozens of trips a day, hundreds of trips a day. What is the early usage like?
We've shipped thousands of packages around.
Who's the biggest shipper? I'm not by name, but number of items and like what's their characteristic? Etsy shipper, whatever.
Yeah, it'll be the Etsy.
Who is
people on Etsy.
The number one specifically? You must track the whale. Who's the whale? Who's your Moby Dick?
We don't have like somebody who's like out front with like 4x everybody else, which is really good because we don't rely on one person.
So the biggest group of people has how many packages shipped?
I
10,
think it's
30?
hundreds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So you have Etsy sellers or whatever sellers doing hundreds.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. And in the short
All right,
time.
well, you kind of proved it then. I agree. You
Right.
proved it. So now you maybe got to set up your A round.
Yeah, like
Time for a day.
Yeah, we want to go as fast as we can, and
Come on.
like this definitely is a company that is going to take capital to grow, and we're not afraid to do that.
Raise your A now.
I don't know.
Do it. No, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Raise your A now.
Okay.
Because you know what? Putin could go into Finland. You know, the stock market's going up and down like a yo-yo.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on
Right.
in the world. I mean, this plane went down, and what if it's a terrorist attack?
Right.
I mean, all we need is for that to be a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
It's proven it's a terror. If that gets proven as a terrorist, this is my thinking as and hopefully. Well, anyway, I'm not sure when this actually pre-tape will come out, but
Yeah.
my thinking is, I was having this conversation with somebody last night. I was like, okay, the stock market's been going up and down 1% a day. If the stock market, you know, takes a 10% hit, they find out that that was a terrorist attack, and you know, Putin does, you know, send some troops into whatever country he thinks he deserves to own next.
Yeah.
Like, you could have a 30%, 40% correction in the market, and all these investors might be like, yeah, let's take a pause for a year or two.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, and definitely, like I've heard lots, like when you could raise money, you should definitely raise money.
Raise when you can.
Right. Absolutely.
That's my advice to all the people listening. All right, listen, let me wrap up. Kevin, I wish you great success with this. I'm looking forward to having you on in exactly 24 months when you've absolutely crushed it and you have it in 10 cities, which I think you will.
Thank you.
Don't sell. It's going to be a great business. You're going to get a lot of buyout offers, I predict. Thanks to WeWork for hosting us here. Everybody follow Kevin Gibbon on the Twitter. Everybody follow at WeWork on the Twitter. Go to WeWork.com. Thank you to our partners and sponsors for the program. God, you guys and gals are the best for making independent media like This Week in Startup possible. God, producer Brandis, I am going to miss you, but welcome to the team, producer Jacob. And Gina, you're crushing it. I was giving you a hard time about Tim Ferriss being flaky, but we'll get that worked out. And she's actually been getting great guests. The guests have been, you wouldn't believe the numbers we're getting. Literally, I saw the statistics for the Mark Cuban episode.
Yeah.
Millions of downloads.
Wow.
Millions. And
Wow.
producer Gina got us listed like on iTunes or iTunes selected us twice. I mean, it's not like Gina has the ability to list. It feels like she has the ability to put anything up there, but we're getting good. Thank you to my friends at iTunes for loving the show and loving the guests, but mostly to Gina for getting great guests. Hey, Luke and Brandon DeMont, thank you for keeping the lights on. And Andrew, the launch ticker is delightful. Thank you, Emily, unsung hero, making sure that all the events go down without a hitch. We'll see you next time on This Week in Startups.